What's up?
What's up?
Gene? Don't have a medical update on Skyler, do you?
I'm not a doctor or trainer, so no. Well, so first of all, we're excited about the announcement today about the indoor facility and the Volleyball Olympic Training Center. Had a great event last night, with the grand opening of the Shamrock Zone and ribbon cutting today. We can't really do this without the tremendous support of our donors. We've raised $96.5 million. Original goal was 85. Obviously, we still got some work to do, but we're going to get the things in the ground and get them started. And we probably still have to once the board approves. The board's got to approve it next week, and assuming they do, then we'll get to work, get it on the street for construction bids and estimates, and go from there.
What's kind of the timeline? Do you think it'll be done, or?
Yeah, the timeline is, for sure we'll start the volleyball Olympic venue. The indoor football facility's got some steel things. We've got to make sure we get enough steel in. That may take a little longer to get started, but our goal is to start the volleyball Olympic as soon as we can in 2022 and have it done by 2023. And if we can do football, we'll do the same thing. It's just got to get our construction company or companies hired and let them start working on the steel and the timing of everything there.
Is there any concern about the financials of it, just with the realignment, everything that happened in the last
No,
couple of months?
because we've raised so much money towards the goal, and knowing that the next 4 years our financial situation is not going to change a great deal, and then we won't have to, if we finance, we won't have to finance that much. Our debt service is one of the lowest in the Big 12, so we looked at it from a couple of different scenarios of what we would need to finance, and the debt service wouldn't go up that much, so we would be about where we are. So we feel pretty comfortable we can get them done.
Long term, with the moves the Big 12 made yesterday, after you guys do have a new TV contract in place as a league, what do you think that will do to change the athletic department's bottom line? How much more money, less money?
Yeah, that's hard to tell right now. There was a lot of stuff out there early on when Oklahoma and Texas left, and it was just going to be the 8 of us. There were some big numbers thrown around. I don't think that's going to be the case once we bring in these 4. Just the landscape of TV is going to change so much over the next 3 to 4 years. I'm assuming we can stay pretty close to where we are with these 4, but it's really, really hard to guess that. There's some things out there. There's been some estimates and some articles that I've read that I don't know where they're getting those numbers, because they're probably not talking to ESPN or Fox, but it just depends on who's in the market when we go to market.
How much more impressive do you think these facilities will be for recruits when you get to show them?
Well, it'll have a tremendous impact. Obviously volleyball's, we love Ahern. It's been a wonderful old facilities, but it's a wonderful old facility. So it'll really help volleyball. It'll help all our other sports, the Olympic Training Center. We have weight rooms really small except for the veneer weight room. And then obviously from a football perspective, to have that kind of facility right there next to veneer, and really it's going to help a ton. Our coaches are excited about it, as our athletes are as well.
Yesterday, Travis Goff at Kansas said it would not stop him from having other conversations with leagues at this point. What kind of a sense do you get for where everybody else is at in the league?
I was a little surprised at that. I thought when we walked out of there last week that we were all pretty, ready to go, and we felt pretty comfortable with the 4 and felt pretty committed. So certainly that's the first I've heard of that. I don't think any other ADs are having that conversation that I'm aware of. So that surprised me a little bit. Yeah.
How good or competitive do you think the Big 12 will be in the future with these sports?
I think it'll be very competitive. We'll see. Look at them right now in terms of football program, but you also look at the basketball programs. I think it's going to be I won't say it's going to be any more competitive, but it's certainly going to be as competitive as it was.
You guys talked at all about how divisions, pods, anything like that?
No, we have not done that yet. I'm assuming that'll come in the next few weeks or months. We never really even talked about that when we met last week. It was just we looked at a bunch of schools. We never made a formal recommendation. These were the 4 that we kind of ended on, and Bob took it from there with the president. So, but we never went any further. Financially, we didn't talk about anything financially. We didn't talk about divisions or anything. That'll come, now that they've all, accepted and the boards have approved, we'll probably start having those conversations.
Do you think it'll make travel difficult to go to UCF, or what do you think about that?
As long as it's in November, it'll be great. No, obviously most of our teams charter, and a lot of them, if they don't charter, they do fly commercially. So flying out of Kansas City to wherever out of Dallas. So yeah, those things probably it may cost a little bit more money, but we're flying pretty much everywhere now anyway, except for Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. So
Do you anticipate things will settle down now for a little bit before you look into any other expansion?
yeah, I that's my opinion. I know there's been a couple of things out there that people said we may not be done yet, but I think we just got to kind of figure out what's next and what the timing of everything is. When are they coming in? Are Oklahoma and Texas going to stay through? Which that's the impression they still have. But once you get into the details, you start negotiating things. You never know. But I think until we get that all figured out, I don't know that we'll have any more conversations in the near future about any additional schools.
What would you say was the main thing you guys as a league looked for in expansion candidates? Was it value, football, basketball, something else?
It was kind of a little bit of everything. Certainly success of the programs. We looked at the market, obviously. We looked at a lot of data in terms of eyeballs on their programs and where they compare to other schools that might be out there, where they compare to us, the 8, and then where they compare to some of the other conferences. And for the most part, we're pretty good. Obviously, BYU brings a little different group, just because they're kind of more national. But we looked at a lot of things, and at the end of the day, these 4 kind of rose to the top in most of those categories.
Were Texas and Oklahoma, did they have a vote in the expansion process here?
Yes, they did. I don't know if they voted yes, no, or abstain, but they did have a vote, and they were on the call. So I don't know what the outcome of that vote was.
I think some people maybe were surprised that you expanded with such speed. Why was it such an easy process?
Well, I think I will tell you that the minute that Oklahoma and Texas announced, our phones rang as ADs from other ADs in those 4 schools and amongst other schools as well. So we knew there was a high interest. We had certain things from a conference perspective we had to follow in terms of policy and procedure without, getting ourselves in trouble or contract. And then, once they made contact directly with the office, then Bob went pretty quickly. He'd been having a lot of, back conversations about the potential schools, but never contacting them. And then once we got formal application, we knew it was going to go pretty quick because presidents and the ADs were pretty honed in on these 4.
This might be kind of a dumb question, but just from your understanding, when you have 14 teams in the league, is it going to be everybody splits the pie then 14 ways? How will some of that?
That's what we don't know yet. We didn't talk at all about financially who's going to take what and how much, and I don't know any of that right now. Bob pretty much said, let's not go there. Let's figure out. Let's get these teams in, and then we'll take that down the road. So I'm assuming those conversations that happened with those 4 schools. Otherwise, signing on the dotted line, they had to know what they're. But I've not seen those numbers or what they are.
Is there any chance Bob Oldby said BYU definitely in 2023, kind of a loose timeline of the other 3. Is there any chance those 3 come in earlier than BYU?
Well, I don't know. Again, it's going to be a negotiated thing because they have the 27-month notification, and if they go sooner, that's going to cost them more money. So I saw Oresco made a comment about, well, maybe we can, it's going to be difficult. Maybe there's a way we can let them out early, but it's going to be a negotiated number. So all those things happen at above my pay grade. So, yeah. Anything else? All right. Thanks, fellas.